Hello, in this short video, I am going to discuss four types of unemployment. So the four types are frictional unemployment, structural unemployment, cyclical unemployment, and discouraged workers. Let me define all these four types of unemployment, and then I will give you a few examples of each. Frictional unemployment is caused by the time it takes to find their first job or move between jobs. Prolonging the job search will increase frictional unemployment. It is a voluntary and temporary unemployment. So by frictional unemployment, I mean if you are working and you switch your job from your current job to a new job, of course, you can't switch instantaneously. It takes some time to leave this job and join the other job. So the duration between this, duration between these two jobs, when you switch from one to another, you become unemployed. That unemployment is called frictional unemployment, and government cannot control this type of unemployment. The second unemployment is structural unemployment. It occurs when there's a mismatch in skills or location between available jobs and job seekers, also referred to long-term frictional unemployment. By structural unemployment, I mean if you have a skill sets that the employer does not need. So there's a mismatch. Employer, suppose, wants to hire a computer engineer and you have a degree in chemistry, then you would become unemployed. You can't find or get that job. So the reason is because your skill does not match with the requirement of that job. So the easiest way, if you really want to work in that area, then you go to school and get retraining so that you achieve the same skills that is required for that particular job. By cyclical unemployment, particularly during a recession, so cyclical unemployment is related to a recessionary phase of the business cycle. That is when the economy is in the recession. Cyclical unemployment occurs due to the downturn in the business cycle. At the peak of the business cycle, we have full employment. So whenever the economy is going downward, that is when real GDP or GDP per capita or growth rate all are decreasing, then you have unemployment in the country. That unemployment is called cyclical unemployment. For example, because of COVID, people lost their jobs, not because of the frictional employment, not because of the structural employment, but simply there was no demand for these goods and services that those workers were producing. And that is the reason the employers simply laid off those workers. So that created unemployment, and that unemployment is called cyclical unemployment. By discouraged workers, I mean those workers who want to work but are not seeking it, believing that no opportunities exist. And I gave you the example of full-time students or retired people who are not looking for work. Normally, we don't include even discouraged workers in the calculation of unemployment rate because they are not included in labor force. Let me give you a few examples of frictional and structural unemployment. So these are a few examples of frictional unemployment. Graduates might take some time to find their first job after receiving their certificates. So when students receive their degrees, they don't just get hired right away. It takes some time. They apply, they appear in interviews, and then they get the job. So during that period of time, they become unemployed because they are looking for employment, but they haven't gotten employment right away. So that is one example of frictional unemployment. Workers moving from one location to another. International migration can also be considered in this example. So if you are moving from one location to another location, it might take some time to get a new job there in the new location. So you become frictionally unemployed. Workers switch between jobs for a higher salary or better position. That is also frictional unemployment because you become unemployed for certain period of time. Workers move from the not in the labor force category to the labor force category. Retired people entering the labor force. So of course, it takes some time. So suppose if I'm a full-time student or I'm retired, I'm not working because I tried earlier but couldn't find jobs. So I'm not working right now. But after 1 year, I decided, okay, okay, why not I just retry or try again. So I just start looking for jobs. It means I am now changing my status from not in labor force to labor force. Once I'm in the labor force, and of course it takes at least month, 2 months, some time to get my first job. So during that period of time, I'm becoming frictionally unemployed. The examples of structural unemployment. Automation. Due to mechanization in the agriculture sector, some farmers will lose their jobs. So those farmers don't know the advanced techniques of harvesting or using equipment. For example, if you don't know how to operate tractor, you won't be able to work. And so you become unemployed. The only way to get employment is to get the required training or skills. Outsourcing. Several IT-related employment are transferred to developing countries because the structure of the economy is changing. So if you are in the global world, now most of the IT jobs are, let's say, in India. So people in Canada, they are losing those jobs because it is possible to have IT-related services, anywhere around the globe. So that is an example of structural unemployment. Employer discrimination against certain workers based on gender or ethnicity. This is another example of structural unemployment because the structure of the society is such that they think that that efficiency will depend on gender. And government support, for example, subsidies to specific industries or programs. So for example, if provincial government is giving subsidies to electrical engineering in a university, then of course, those who want to pursue this career will find jobs and training easier compared to other professions because government is supporting that sector. So the structure of the economy is changing. So if you don't have that skill, you're not going to get employed. So these are some of the examples of structural unemployment. And as I told you, by cyclical unemployment, I mean that this unemployment is caused by recession or war. And this is primarily because of low aggregate demand. That is, if people are not demanding goods and services, and there may be several reasons. One reason is recession. That is, if people don't have employment, they don't have income, so they are not going to demand more goods and services. Similarly, if you have war, then people are not going to buy more goods and services for their own consumption. That will lead to lower production, which will lead to higher unemployment. So this unemployment is called cyclical unemployment. So that's all. Thank you.